I would have held on to whatever words he would have told me that would have inspired my life. And so he didn't show up. And this is what I told myself. I say, if I ever have an opportunity to impact the minds and hearts and souls of young people, I'm going to show up.
Authentic Talks is all about authentic conversations. This show is all about growth, love, respect, success, mind, body, and spirit. If you're looking to grow and become your authentic self, then this is the podcast for you. And I am your host, Shanta. Welcome to the show. I have another amazing guest for you guys this week. This week's guest shares his heart-pounding journey from being an at-risk inner-city youth struggling in school with personal setbacks, and yet he made it into the NFL. He is an author, a leader, community activist, and a motivational speaker. After he retired from playing professional football, he dedicated his life to helping youth and young adults score by obtaining the tools needed to enhance academically, socially, and moral development. You guys, please welcome Tyrone Smith to the show. Hi, Tyrone.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going, Shanta? Authentic Talk. Thanks for having me on.
I'm doing good. It's going good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm grateful and thankful. I'm living the dream.
I'm excited to have you on the show today because we're going to talk about a lot of things. Can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Man, who is Tyrone Smith? Tyrone Smith is a proud African-American man born and raised in Houston, Texas, the youngest of three boys. My mom didn't finish middle school. My dad didn't finish high school. But there was a lot that I had to overcome in regards to my life, my goals, my dreams, and my hopes, my aspirations. But yet, at the end of the day, I'm determined, I'm driven to know that I can and I will succeed. But I know it's my capacity to impact the world in any way that I can, because I realize and know and understand that as an individual, I matter. Despite the fact I wasn't expected to do anything in life in regards to reaching whatever goals, dreams, hopes, or aspirations, I was determined. I was always looked at as less than. I was picked on, I was antagonized, I was bullied. And so all these things I had to overcome to get to where I am today. But at the end of the day, when you think about all that I've done, I'm not finished. There's still a great deal of work to do. So in the snapshot, that's Tyrone Smith. But I know we're going to get a little bit more detailed, specific information as we go through this interview today. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm excited to have you. Welcome to the show. And let's start off with, how have you been holding up with COVID-19? What have you been doing to keep it together?
Oh, man, when you think about everything going on with the global pandemic, with COVID-19, like everybody else, I've been actually forced to be still. And in my being still, I've been taking an inward look at myself to see, what can I do in regards to everything I've already done? What can I do to hit the reset button? What can I do to repurpose thoughts, aspirations, and ideas? What can I do to be a better person? As I sit and just reflect over everything that's going on in the world, it's actually made me appreciate my family just that much more. So my wife and our boys, we've had more time together than we had in a long time because we all have been quarantined, and we're still practicing back to being quarantined, despite our governor said, go and pretty much be back to normal. But there's a new normal, so that's another story. But with everything that's actually going on, I've remained grateful and thankful to just really have time to self-reflect over my life and the things that can be done as we operate like in this new normal. But then at the same time, try to challenge and charge those other people who may see it as being stagnant and stuck. But in reality, it's not about being stagnant and stuck. It's about self-discovery. You know what I mean? Just looking at yourself to see what more can you do? How can you reassess your life to do better and be better? So with it, I've been thankful for the time because, in everything that we deal with and go through and experience, there's a life lesson in it. So I don't look at it as a negative sense. I look at it as a new normal. I look at it as an opportunity to just approach life differently.
I love it. I love that. For me as well, I think that it's been a benefit, but I love the way you explained it. How do you feel about everything that's unfolded as far as the protests and everything that's unfolding?
I mean, when you think about everything that George Floyd went through, and he's no longer here, and what his family's enduring, and you think about the protests, you think about how inhumane that this man was publicly lynched before the world, and you would think that the world would be in a better place, but the reality is that we're not right now. But with everything going on with the riots and the protesting, it's one of those necessary things in regards to the voice of the voiceless actually like being heard. But yet at the end of the day, I think it's also an opportunity that we can actually have those authentic, genuine, real hard conversations. And what I mean by that is that, you know, for a long time, our white peers and white counterparts have really been like ignorant and have not had like a true depth or understanding about the plight of the African man, African American man, or African American woman. And so here it is now, people are willing to talk. And so I think this is an opportune time to take full advantage of the uncomfortable conversations and to bring knowledge and education of what it is that we've been dealing with and going through like as a people, but then at the same time to actually level set where our white counterparts and our white peers and our white friends can really have these in-depth conversations with people that are actually in their circles who may not have understanding, who may not have insight, who may have been actually ignorant for a long time based on their exposure, based on how they were raised, and based on all these learned behaviors that's been a part of their life for a long time. So with everything that's going on, man, with George Floyd, as inhumane as it is, as inhumane as all the other things that have still been going on, such a time as this where we can take advantage of it to really use our voice in a healthy, wholesome way to bring about wisdom, to bring about guidance, knowledge, and understanding.
Absolutely. Yeah, out of a tragedy, George, he's no longer here.
Right.
And I feel like the way we are standing up and protesting and seeing some of the things unfold on the news,
Yes.
yesterday was a proud moment for me. I seen where they painted in the street with big, gigantic yellow letters that says Black Lives Matter.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
I see that a street was renamed, and this was in one place near the White House.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think that's good. And change definitely does need to happen. Tyrone, with you being someone that you were in the NFL.
Yes. Well, San Fran 49ers.
What number were you?
I was number 24.
Yeah, number 24.
Yeah.
And so with you being someone who played and who was in the NFL, what was your opinion of Colin kneeling
Yes.
throughout the national anthem?
Right. My whole take is that, you know, with Colin Kaepernick and the whole knee kneeling was this right here. When I first got word like years ago, because actually I did an interview with ESPN 360. I don't necessarily know which state they were actually out of, but I did an interview, and they asked me my thought and my take about, you know, this was during the time that Colin was actually like kneeling, and they were talking to me as a former San Fran 49er. And this is what I said. I said that I understand why he is kneeling. I'm with him while he is kneeling, because one thing in life that we're given is free will, and free will is the ability to make our own choices and decisions as individuals. And what I did say was that, you know, I understand that, but I just hope and trust and believe that he's true to what he's doing, because in so many times you have entertainers and professional athletes, they do it more so for show, right? And I wasn't saying that Colin was doing it for show. I just said, you know, being an advocate of our society, our world, and our community, and our people, I just hope it's a sense of genuineness. And as you know, and as I know, Colin was actually genuine in regards to his actions. And so that was my thing, and that was my take. So I've always championed Colin Kaepernick as a person, as an individual, as well as a player. But now here it is. Everything that he was standing for, as well as myself and others were standing for in regards to kneeling, that was validity, right? Now, everybody is pretty much seeing everything that Colin Kaepernick was actually like talking about and championing, and the whole premise and focus behind him kneeling is evident. George Floyd, we're having this conversation now, and everybody's realizing that there's been this inhumane mindset going on for yet a long time. And so Colin was in the right space and place. And so I've agreed with him. I supported his stance in regards to kneeling. So it rang to be true, because yet there's still so much to be done in the world that we live in.
Absolutely. Did you hear how the NFL came out to apologize, and there was a player that publicly apologized as well, which was
Drew Brees. Yeah, it's Drew Brees.
Okay.
New Orleans Saints. I almost said New Orleans Aints, but there are other guys on that team that take a stance for right. So I'm not gonna say New Orleans Saints. I'm gonna say New Orleans Aints, but New Orleans Saints. And so I did see the interview with Commissioner Roger Goodell. Said that the NFL was going to actually back this whole movement, which I champion that. But yeah, it's just interesting that here it is. You ostracize a man in Colin Kaepernick because of his stance. You apologize, which I'm actually cool with that. On the flip side, you have Drew Brees come out and say what he said. He come out and say what he said. He was apologetic, but I'm sure he actually had time to think about what it is he was going to say. And I saw another interesting interview with Nate Burleson with the NFL Network, and he works for CBS as well. He spoke to about the fact that the same war that Drew Brees was actually speaking of, his grandfather was in that same war in that same time, but his grandfather was killed by a policeman in 1971 in San Francisco.
Wow.
Right. And yet Drew Brees talking about, taking a stance for his grandparents and everything that they stood for in regards to this country. And Nate Burleson shared, man, my grandfather, he fought the same fight in the same war. So you make this statement and you say what you say, and that really, honestly, that speaks to white privilege. Most white people pretty much have like this ideology about, how life should be, but it's not real. You understand what I'm saying? What I'm saying when I say white privilege, it's like you block everything else out and you're really true to only what you know. And you're only true to what you know because you don't know the other side. And the other side can be like whatever, but what I'm saying, your white privilege is like your mindset is focused and fixed on what you know based on what you've been exposed to. And yet you're not really trying to open your mind and your heart to receive and see anything else. So you're in this place where you get certain benefits. You have accessibility to certain places and spaces, but yet you don't know it's really because of your color. And so I think right now is an opportunity and time to have tough, real, genuine, authentic conversations to talk to our white peers, friends, and counterparts about the reality of life. And you know what? But I thank God for the opportunity. I've had multiple friends of mine who are white pastors, leaders, and businessmen who've actually reached out to me and they said, Tyrone, let's have that conversation. Let's have that conversation. Let's have that conversation so I can have a greater capacity of knowledge and understanding. Let's have that capacity of understanding conversation so I can have a greater understanding so I don't remain ignorant. Let's have that conversation about what it means to have white privilege so I can basically go back and talk to people who are in my circle to give them a greater capacity of understanding and knowing I got to come back again because there's going to be some shock when I have this conversation with them because their lack of understanding based on their learned behaviors. You follow me?
I do.
So, yeah. So, when you think about it, man, this is just the beginning. And I'm just thankful for the opportunity to be a vehicle to support, to encourage, and to love on all people so we can really move forward in life.
Absolutely. Whenever I think about white privilege, what goes through my mind is how often they get to go, and this came from one of my guests. She was explaining from her perspective that she can speed. She can go over the speed limit, and when she gets pulled over, she doesn't have to worry about this could be the end of her life.
Right.
And yeah, so that's like one small example, but it's a real thing. And I'm glad that we're able to have these talks now and where people are going to be more open to hearing and trying to understand. It is definitely a good thing. Now, I noticed that you call the Saints the Aints. Was that like a rivalry?
Yeah, I call the New Orleans Saints the Aints because when I played for the 49ers, the Saints, which we call the Aints, we were like in the same division at that time, and they were not as good as they are right now. I may call them the Aints, but and despite the fact what Drew Brees said, they're a solid team. They have some ballers, some players on that team. But the thing about it is when I was playing for the 49ers, we pretty much won the majority of the games when we played them. They really wasn't as good of a team as they are now consistently. So that's why we refer to them as the New Orleans Aints.
Oh, wow. What was that like for you being in the NFL?
Man, being in the NFL, man, was like a dream come true. Think about this for a moment. I've always had a love and fascination with the game of football. I've always deemed the game of football as like controlled chaos, but I had this fascination by the game. So to actually get to the NFL was truly a blessing and an honor, considering that people told me I wouldn't make it to the NFL because, you know, I wasn't the biggest kid. I wasn't the fastest kid, but yet I actually made it. People would say, Tyrone, dude, really, you too small, you too skinny, you got a big head, you cry all the time, you're not good enough, you're not big enough, you're not fast enough, you're not cute enough. I'm like, what does cute have to do with it? You wear a helmet anyway. And so here it is. I had this fascination with the game of football, and to actually make it to the NFL was truly an honor and a blessing and a joy. And it's something that I will be forever grateful.
In what way do you think being in the NFL changed your life?
Oh, man. One way I can say the NFL changed my life is just realizing that as a young man, there was something that I actually wanted to do. As a young man, there was this dream that I actually had. As a young man, there was something that I actually wanted to accomplish, and that dream became a reality. But the thing about it is, in everything that I had to deal with, go through an experience to get to that point, to get to that moment, that was hard work, dedication, drive, and commitment. I had to work for it. And it made me realize and understand that anything in life that you desire to have, you must commit yourself to the work. Regardless of what people say, think, or feel about you as a person, if it is what you want, you got to commit to it. And yet at the end of the day, I realized that I didn't do any of it by myself. In regards to my life, my journey, in regards to reaching and making to the NFL, there were parents, teachers, coaches, individuals who actually helped me in my journey that I am forever grateful and thankful for to achieve that specific goal. And it made me realize that, man, you got to work. I realized, understanding, you can buy anything at Walmart, but you cannot buy hard work, dedication, drive, commitment, love, purpose, and passion at Walmart. It has to come from within. And with that coming from within, there has to be a circle of support of people who actually help you achieve whatever it is you actually want for your life. And so to actually make it to the NFL was a moment, right? It was a moment. It was a moment during my rookie year.
It's huge. That's huge.
Think about that. It was a moment in 1996, my rookie year. I remember on a Sunday. Check this out. I remember on a Sunday, I was walking the practice field. We had 3 fields. We had a turf field. And you had 2 grass fields. But the far grass field, one Sunday, I'm actually walking on the field. I say, God, I thank you for this moment. I thank you for this time. I thank you for this opportunity, Lord. But I realized, check this out, Shanta, I realized in that moment that it wouldn't last forever. Hear what I'm saying? I realized in that moment, my rookie year in 1996, I was grateful and thankful. The beautiful sun, the mountains in the background, a scenic moment. I'm talking about like a moment, but I realized that it wouldn't last forever. So I said, when the game of football is over, how can I use this platform to impact the world, to make a greater difference based on who I am as a person? You see what I'm saying? So, man, to achieve that, man, it's something that can never be taken away from me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's awesome. I want to back up a little bit. You mentioned that you have your parents, your mom, a good support system. And what was it like for you in high school? I'm going to have you take us back there, and then we'll keep moving forward.
What was it like in high school? Let me go back to let me bring you from elementary to high school.
Okay.
I can't jump over, because the thing about it is, my mom and dad are from a small country town in East Texas called Jasper, Texas. You ever heard of James Bird?
Yes.
James Bird. So my mom and dad are from the same town that James Bird is from, right? So remember what happened with James Bird? He was killed in an inhumane way, right?
Yes.
And so here, my mom and my dad, my mom was classmates with James Bird. James Bird was good friends with my dad and my uncles. James Bird what I remember about James Bird, I'm going to kind of get into what you asked me. What I remember about James Bird is that him and my Uncle John were real good friends, and he used to always like mimic Al Green, trying to, singing like Al Green. And he actually sounded like Al Green, like for real. He'd be like, I'm so tired of being alone. I'm so tired of mom. Won't you help me, girl? Just as soon as you can. So he used to actually like, not that I sound like Al Green, but he used to.
Hey, he was pretty close. He was close.
I was pretty close. All right, thank you. So
yeah.
I remember James Bird. And so now here it is. He was killed in an inhumane way, right, in 98. And that same town that my mom and my dad grew up in, we moved from Jasper to Houston because they wanted more opportunity for themselves, work-wise, and for me and my brothers. And so we moved to the inner city of Houston, moved to Third Ward. So I was born and raised in the inner city of Houston in Third Ward, all right? And so we moved from Third Ward in the mid-'80s to a suburbs of Houston called Missouri City. In Houston, we call it Mo City. And Shanta, when we moved from the inner city of Houston, from Third Ward to Missouri City, it was like a good time and a bad time for me as a kid, because we moved when I was going from the 3rd grade to the 4th grade. And here it is, you're identifying with like your friends, your people, your community, your block. And so we moved from Third Ward, the inner city of Houston. They had a lot going on: drugs, prostitution. Just crazy, chaotic violence, everything, everything's going on in Third Ward. So we moved to a better place and space and community in Ridgemont and Mo City. And so I was grateful because this is our first time. We owned a house. We had a front yard, we had a backyard. I'm rolling around in the grass all the time. I'm happy. But it was tragic in the sense that I'm missing my friends, the community, and the block. But it was a life-changing moment for me as well. I remember in the 4th grade, the first day of school, in this new community, I'm in my teacher's class, right? African-American teacher, Miss Shaver. I'm excited. I'm like, man, okay. African-American teacher, Miss Shaver. She's smart, she's cool, she's energetic. She's a beautiful woman, right? So I'm excited. But it was a tragic day for me because the first day of school in the 4th grade, it's like she was speaking a foreign language. She's going over multiplication and division. So she's going over multiplication and division. Check this out, Shanta. I did not know my multiplication or division in the 4th grade. So what do? They moved me to, they moved me from Miss Shaver's class to another class, Miss Swingler's class, to a lower level class. So they moved me to Miss Swingler's class. All right. She was a female. She was white. They moved me to her class. And they moved me to the class, so the kids are picking on, antagonizing me, and bullying me. Now, all this is going on. Now, Ms. Swingler did not try to connect with me. So these kids are saying all these different things about me. She just let it occur without interjecting. They call me a hood kid, a ghetto kid, a bad kid, an angry kid. Now, mind you, I'm in the 4th grade. I'm not self-aware about myself as a person in regards to this great transition and yet being lowered to another a lower level class. And yet I'm feeling less than because my self-esteem is like shot because I don't know multiplication division and I should be knowing it, but it's not my fault. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so my teacher did not try to connect with me. So I started acting out. The kids said I was bad. So how did I start acting? I started acting bad. 4th grade, went to the office over 50 times, Ridgemont Elementary. Over 50 times in the 4th grade. What you think about that?
Wow, is all I can say.
You say, wow.
Wow, yeah.
I get to the 5th grade. My 5th grade teacher, Miss Betty Lou Williams, she sat me down. She was like, Tyrone Smith, I read your report and your record. I know about you, everything that went on with you last year. But I'm going to tell you something. I expect you, that's what I'm saying. I expect you to respect me. I expect you to respect yourself. I expect you to do great. You have the capacity to do great. But just know, I'm going to walk alongside with you in everything you're going to do in this school as a 5th grader so you can be the best you can be. If there's anything on your heart and your mind you want to talk to me about, I'm here to support you. That woman looked me in my eyes. She squared me up, and I felt that she was genuine in what she said, right, and what she shared.
Who was that? That was the teacher you said, or the principal?
My 5th grade teacher.
Oh, the teacher. Okay.
She's a Black woman, Miss Betty Lou Williams. She told me that in the 5th grade, I did not go to the office one time. I did not go to the office one time in the 5th grade because why? She captured my heart. She captured my heart. I saw and knew that she cared. And she helped me be who I am. And so here it is, as a 5th grader, I moved from 5th grade, started playing football for the Windsor Redskins. My mom didn't want me to play. She's like, if you want to play football, you got to pay your own registration fee. So in the 5th grade, going to the 6th grade, I started my own business, Tyrone Cut Your Yard business. So what I did, I started my own business, Tyrone Cut Your Yard business. I raised $60. Yes, I did. I raised $60. That's something to pay my own registration fee. I charge people $5 to cut the front, $5 to cut the back, $2 sweep, rather than have like the little blower thing. And so I raised enough money to pay my own registration fee while I played for the Windsor Redskins. And you know what? We only won one football game that year. And we only won that one football game because the other team didn't show up. But hey, a win is a win. We had a party. We was ready. We making it rain. You know what I mean? Like, so hey, but we won the game. But we only won one football game. I'm going somewhere. But we only won one football game. But that year, check this out. That year was like a movement in my life because that year, my oldest brother, he told one of the star football players at our high school, Blue Ridge High School at the time. He told a star football player, he said, hey man, my little brother, love football. Well, no, hold on. My brother told me he told him that I love football. And my brother told me that he told him that I wanted to meet him. And I was excited because this guy will end up going to the NFL, being a Hall of Famer. And so all of this. So my brother told me, he like, hey, man, I told him, man, to come out of the house to holler at you. And at the time, this guy's still in high school. He's an All-American. He was being recruited by all the colleges in the nation. And so I remember, Shanta, that morning, I had my Redskins jersey on, number 28. I had my little afro picked out. I had a yellow jersey, maroon numbers, maroon shorts. My hair was tinted, from the sun, burning a little bit, so it's half brown, half red. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, yes.
And so I'm waiting for the brother to come, and it's 8 o'clock. I'm like, hey, my Frosted Flakes, because they are great. So I'm waiting, and 9 o'clock roll around, look out the window, he's not there. I'm like, 10 o'clock, he's not there. 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, he's not there. And I was like, man, is he even going to come? And this is what I told myself. Now, my brother told me that he told him that I wanted to meet him. My brother told me that he said he was going to come over. So there's up for debate. But my brother told him. And when he didn't show up, I was so hurt. I was hurt from the simple fact alone that I was like, man, if he would have actually came, what was he going to say to me to impact my life? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm like, if he would have came, what was he going to say to impact my life? But I can assure you, I would have remembered what he would have told me. Because that jersey that I was wearing that day with the Windsor Redskins, I still have that jersey downstairs in my closet.
Today?
Yeah, I still have that same jersey.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's downstairs in my closet with my other jerseys I've collected over the years from playing the game of football. And so if I still have that jersey, I would have held on to whatever words he would have told me that would have inspired my life. And so he didn't show up. And this is what I told myself. I say, if I ever have an opportunity to impact the minds and hearts or souls of young people, I'm going to show up. I'm not going to dismiss the situation. If I say I'm going to make a commitment to a group of young people who want to hear my voice based on what I'm going to share and say about, based on my life and my experiences, I'm going to show up. And so when he didn't show up, I was like, I was crushed, I was hurt. But yet I used that as fuel. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I use that. So that's the 6th grade. 8th grade, man, life got turned upside down. Mom and dad got divorced. Man. I'm crushed. I'm mad and I'm angry and I'm frustrated because my parents got divorced. As an 8th grader, I thought my mom and dad would be together forever. Every time I heard the song, That's What Friends Are For by Dionne Warwick, as an 8th grader, I cried. I cried because I felt and I thought that my parents' union in their marriage and their friendship was greater than whatever the struggles and battles they were dealing with and going through. But yet, I later found out that the battles, the struggles, and the situations they were dealing with and going through were truly great, based on learned behaviors and things that they actually had going on in their marriage, right? But yet, despite that, I didn't know that, but I was crushed and I was hurt. I didn't care about life, school, or anything in the 8th grade. It got to a point, Shanta, in the 8th grade where I started acting out. I started acting out in the way of fighting. I'm dealing with all my emotions in an unhealthy way. So here it is, I'm fighting all the time. But the thing about it is, Shanta, I had to stop fighting. You can only hit people so many times and run before they catch you and beat you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how brother got fast. So I would hit him and I would run. Hit him, run. That's how brother got fast. You know what I mean? And the thing about it is, it got to the point I had to stop fighting because I wasn't winning all the fights. So the next thing that I stopped doing, because I'm still dealing with all these emotions, I'm crying out for attention. The next thing that I stopped doing, I stopped bathing. I didn't take a bath. I didn't want to bathe. I walked down the hallway. People would be like, man, somebody is funky. I was like, I know who is it, but it was me. And the thing about it is, I didn't know how to deal with these emotions I was dealing with and going through. I didn't talk to my counselor, my teacher, nobody. I'm just trying to cry for attention to my parents. Like, man, you don't smell me over here. It got to the point where I didn't bathe or brush my teeth for 3.5 weeks.
Wow. And no one, and your mom, she was probably busy working and didn't notice? Or what?
When my mom and my dad got separated, mom was out the house. It was me and my brothers and my half sister. My mom was gone, right? Mom isn't there.
Oh, you live with your dad?
Yeah, I was living with my dad and my mom. It was me, my dad, my mom. It was me, my dad, my mom, right? And my 2 brothers and my half sister, right? Mm-hmm. And so my half sister, it was my dad and my mom that would pick my half sister up for school. Part part of the reason why my mom left is because my dad asked my mom to go pick my half sister up from school. She was on her cycle, right? And
Mm-hmm.
my dad asked my mom to get off of work to go pick her up. And my mom was like, I'm not getting off of work. You go pick her up. It's your daughter. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so, mind you, my half sister had just moved with us this year. And so the backdrop was with everything going on with my half sister, that relationship, how she came into the world, and the whole background behind how she's my half sister and we're the same age and she's 6 months younger than me. And then going back years ago where I'm wondering how she my half sister. And yet that behind the scene, there's a lot my mom had to deal with and go through that I didn't know anything about. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so
Yes.
she's moving with us that year. Could you imagine how my mom felt?
Oh, absolutely. I would have been putting myself in those shoes. I would have been devastated. I don't know that I would have been able to do that. But we always can say what we don't think we could do until we walk in those shoes. But I can imagine the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It was a lot. And so my mom, she had to endure a lot. And my mom, and basically that was a tipping point for my mom. My mom was like, you know what? I'm not going to pick her up from school. That's your daughter. You go pick her up. I come home from football practice. Mom gone. She a chunk of deuce. Mom is gone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mad. I'm angry. I hadn't bathed in 3.5 weeks. I hadn't brushed my teeth in 3.5 weeks. And I had to get to a point I had to realize I had to take control. But I only realized I was able to take control because somebody came into my life. Coach Dennis Brantley. In 1987 at Chris McCullough Middle School, the first year the school was open is when I connected with Coach Dennis Brantley. He was my mentor. He's been instrumental in my life and everything I've actually done up until this day. That's my guy. And so Coach Dennis Brantley, he invited me to a Fellowship of Christian Athletes Bible study. He said, man, I need you to come to a FCA huddle. And huddle is basically a Bible study. It only can be performed before or after school. But at the school, Shanta, they had the huddle like at 6:30 in the morning. I'm like, man, I'm not coming to school at 6:30 in the morning. I'm barely making it to school right now. And he was like, Tyrone, if you come, we have free donuts and orange juice. I was like, dude, sign me up. Free donuts and orange juice. Let the kid go get it. But yet, that's when I actually rededicated and recommitted my life to Christ, only because there was a man who was in my corner who was championing me, who was really used by the Lord, Coach Dennis Brantley. And from that day and from that moment, Coach Brantley's been instrumental in my life in regards to everything that I've actually done. I saw how he carried himself with his family. I saw how he carried himself at the school. I saw how he was a man that loved the Lord. And I saw how he did everything the right way. And I was like, man, I want to be like him. Taking nothing from my dad, I was like, I want to be like him. My dad and my mom worked all the time. There was a lot already going on in my household, but he helped redirect my mindset and my perspective about life at a time when I needed it at 13 years old. And so I've been forever grateful for Coach Dennis Brantley. And that's why I had to share that, because there were certain movements in my life that are pretty much preparing me for what I do today. And so I thank God for that, for those people, because, life is a journey. It's not so much about where you start. It's all about where you finish. And so you have Ms. Williams, you have Coach Brantley, you have others. Then, boom, boom, boom. You go 2 years later where I have Miss Patricia Landhart, where I'm a 10th grader. I'm staying with Dad. Dad ended up losing his job. We lose our house. And so I'm over my boy at Smoking House all the time after practice because Miss Landhart cooked the best food. So, as a kid, you don't go to your homeboy house who mom cooked the best food, right?
Yes.
In the 10th grade, Shanta, check this out. Could you imagine in the 10th grade, I'm at Miss Landhart's house after practice one day. We had football practice, track in the spring. My dad came to pick me up from Miss Landhart's house. My dad came to pick me up from Miss Landhart's house in a car that he borrowed from his friend. Could you imagine? Miss Landhart came and picked me up my dad came and picked me up from Miss Landhart's house. And Miss Landhart went up to my dad, because I told her everything that was going on. She went to my dad and said, Mr. Harrell, she called my dad Mr. Harrell. She's like, Mr. Harrell, Tyrone told me what's going on with you guys. And this is what she said: won't you let Tyrone stay here with me and my family? I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it right now. Miss Landhart, won't you let Tyrone stay here with me and my family? Could you imagine that, Shanta? This woman that my dad does not know, we're not biologically related, but she go up to him because she has my heart, I have her heart. I thank God for her. She go up to him and say, why don't you let Tyrone stay here? This woman, single mother, 3 kids with 2 jobs, Patricia Landhart, single mother, 3 kids with 2 jobs, bringing another kid in her house. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And she took me under her household, under her roof for 2 years. She
Wow.
kept me, I was on her insurance until I went to the NFL.
Wow. That's
So in my
awesome.
life and in my journey, there have been people who've actually helped me along the way. That's why it's my duty to give back. Every time I tell a story, I got a comment and I want to say thank you. You did stuff for me that you didn't have to do. She was an angel. Coach Brandon was an angel. Miss Williams was an angel. And I thank God for her as well as others who've actually helped me because I've done nothing by myself. So when you think about, everything that's going on in the world that we live in, hey, whatever I got to do to support, to commit to the battle and the struggle, it's my duty to do so because people have actually helped me along the way. And so that's where we are now. Now we're in high school. So I had to give you that background about all those things that really like shifted and changed in my life that have actually shaped who I am, but they got me to where we are right now talking about high school. So your question was, take it back to high school. So now we're in high school.
Well, I have to say this. I appreciate you sharing it because you painted a picture so well that I literally could picture this kid, which is you.
Yeah.
And I could see the family in my head. I actually went through your life with you and was feeling the ups and downs. So, that was an important piece. I'm still with you.
Yeah, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, that was a lot to go through. I understand you having that experience of what it felt like for someone not to show up. That assisted in setting that blueprint. And so that's so awesome, which we're going to get to how you impact young people's lives today. We're going to get there, but I'm going to let you go through high school because you went to the NFL, right?
Yeah, well, no. So basically what it was, all throughout when I was kind of dealing with all those different things and movements in my life, my healthy alternative was the game of football, right? Football
Mm-hmm.
was the thing that kind of like was my level set, but it was my level set, but I still had all these unaddressed issues going on in my life. But as far as my healthy alternative, I didn't turn to drugs, right? I didn't turn to doing all these other unhealthy things outside of the moments I thought I was going to be a professional boxer trying to fight everybody. But outside of that, my healthy alternative was a game of football. Sports was my outlet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it where I played, like I said. But the thing about it is I wasn't like this phenomenal star-studded athlete. I mean, like I said, when I played for the Windsor Redskins, we were 1-9 in 7th grade, played on the B team, 8th grade, B team, 9th grade, B team, sophomore year, sophomore team. Most schools don't even have sophomore teams anymore. In my junior year, I played on junior varsity. But I was still always driven and determined to actually work. So sports was my outlet, football and track. And I ran track, I was a hurdler. So I was always determined to like work hard and embrace the process. In my senior year, they had no choice but to put a brother on varsity, Shanta. You know what I mean? They had no choice. So my senior year, man, I played varsity. I was very grateful and thankful. At that time, my mom, in order for me to play varsity, sacrificed. In order for me to play varsity, I had one of my biological parents needed to be staying in the community, right? So my mom rented a house right around the corner from Willow Ridge. And I was thankful for Miss Leon for everything that she did. But my mom rented a house there in Missouri City specifically so I can still go to Willow Ridge High School. It's people on Facebook Live that's actually listening in and tuning in that may not actually know about this right now. But my mom actually rented a house in Mo City so I can actually still go to Willow Ridge High School and play football for Willow Ridge High School. And I played so well, man, the Lord blessed me. I had over 50 Division I offers. Baylor, Ohio State, Temple, TCU, Rice, UNLV. As a 1-year starter, I had over 50 Division I offers. End up choosing Baylor University. Yep, went to Baylor University. First my family to go to college, to go to and through college. First my family to go to and through college. Graduated in 4 years. Bachelor's degree, sociology and social work with a minor in business. All right. Graduated, was grateful, thankful. 3-year starter at Baylor, 3-year captain, driven and determined, and thankful for the opportunity.
That's awesome. Driven,
but scared.
Mm-hmm.
Driven but scared. Because when I was in college, I defined college as being the fear of the unknown. Because in college, my mom didn't go to college, my dad didn't go to college. What could they tell me about college? My mom was like, when she dropped me off, respect people, don't get in trouble. You'll be okay. Got in the white van and she left. Like, that's it?
Yeah.
That's it. She couldn't tell me anything else because she couldn't relate to the experience. Think about that for a moment. She couldn't give me anything else because she can relate to the experience. And what I'm thinking about right here, Shanta, is think about this right here. My mom couldn't give me anything else because she couldn't relate to the experience of going to college. I think that's where we are right now as a nation. There are a lot of people that can't relate to what it means to be an African-American man, a woman. So they don't know what to say. So that's why it's critical that we have these conversations, these tough, hard conversations, not to jump back, but that just hit my mind. My mom couldn't tell me anything outside of respect people and do the right thing when she dropped me off, because why? She could not relate to the experience of me being a first generation college student, because why? She had nothing to give. She had no capacity of experience or insight. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that made me think about where we are right now as a nation, as a country. There are a lot of ignorant people. They don't know, because they don't know. A lot of people want to stay stuck in ignorance. So to move from being stuck in ignorance, let's have the conversation. It's going to be uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Yeah.
I had someone mention to me about the flag being disrespected, which was why they did not like Colin Kaepernick. And to hear the NFL come out and apologize for their thought process, it's like, now what about the flag? You know? And so I think that that flag was an excuse for people to hide behind the racism that lived in their hearts, you know, that was embedded in them from generations and generations ago. And that stuff is just being passed down. It's in some people's DNA. It's in their, you know, you pass it down from.
Right.
Yeah.
You said it. All behaviors learn behavior. How do you learn behaviors? From those who are part of your immediate circle, your family, your loved ones, your mom, your dad, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your great-grandfather. So stuff that's actually passed down. And the NFL was hiding behind the flag as an excuse, but you got to realize there were African-American soldiers that fought alongside with all those other individuals, right? The war wasn't just fought by whites. No, it was a melting pot. It was African Americans were alongside the whites in fighting all these wars. When you talk about the flag was an excuse, right? The flag was an excuse for the ignorance. You know what I'm saying? The flag was an excuse for the ignorance. But the thing about it is, if we're going to talk about bringing change, we cannot remain ignorant. And so I think, here we are right now. And so everything you said is really based on learned behaviors. Because everything that we deal with, go through an experience in life is based on what? A learned behavior. That doesn't necessarily make it right or wrong, but yet it's a learned behavior that we picked up along the way, and it has shaped who we are as an individual and as a being. But that doesn't make it right.
That's right. And people have to want to do better and want to be better. And so I think using the excuse of, or having a mindset where you're like, well, this is the way it's always been. It's like people have to step outside the box. So I personally appreciate the people protesting, standing up. And I love that it was all different races. And
definitely
it takes that to make change happen.
It takes that. I mean, and so when I say like white peers and white friends, I mean, I'm thankful for those, my white peers and friends and leaders who reached out to me to say that they want to have tough conversations.
Yeah.
I mean, because I have friends that are white. I have former teammates that are white, man, that I love. I love them. They love me. John Patterson, Aaron Patterson, Hunter Barrow, Brian Newberry. You know what I mean? I mean, Coach Larry Fedor, was one of my guys. He's white. I mean, so I know people that are white, and I know their heart. You understand what I'm saying? And
absolutely.
Coach Chuck Reedy, Coach Grant Taft. You know what I mean? Steve Mariucci, George Seifert. I mean, coaches who really, I know their heart, and who've actually said publicly on social media that, you know what, man, I'm for getting beyond all this social injustice. And so I think now the shift is like, okay, having those conversations, following up with them so they can have conversations with their circle of influence and people to help, lessen the ignorance, to help them become more educated and informed. And I think that's where we are, man. So, and I'm grateful and thankful to see, just a myriad of people, man, African Americans, Asians, Hispanics, of all people, of all descents, coming together, man, to like champion this cause. So that's why I'm grateful, because I think in life that we all matter.
Around the world.
World. Yes, around the world.
I think I was looking this up, and it's a total of, it was like New Zealand, South Africa, the United Kingdom. It was so many places that I can't even begin to name them, but it was all different, a lot of different countries that protested as well on behalf of.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been able to go out of the country yet? I know you will if you haven't, but have you been out of the country yet because you're a public speaker, right?
All right, I'm a public speaker. Been speaking for years to tell a story about my life and about my journey. But yeah, I mean, I actually stayed over in Europe 2 summers when I played the NFL Europe, the Barcelona Dragons. So I stayed in Europe. I've been to Berlin. I've been to Germany. I've been to Scotland. I mean, I've been to Amsterdam. I mean, I've traveled the world by the game of football, and I thank God for that. So I've actually seen the world. I've traveled outside the U.S. I've been to other nations and other countries and see how they live and how they love and how they support. And so in that, I mean, I have a richness about myself that I'm grateful and thankful for. And so it speaks to the global impact of injustice and everybody coming together, which is truly an awesome sight to see.
It is. It's beautiful. I absolutely love it. And with you going through having the experiences that you had as a child, you have sons?
Yep. TJ and Tyler. TJ and Tyler.
Right.
TJ is 13. Tyler is 10. And I have an older daughter. Her name is Whitney. She's a diva. Yes. She's a 28-year-old diva. Yes, I do.
Nice. I know I heard you say that you had a couple sons.
Yeah.
In what ways has your experience been able to impact your own household?
Man, when I think about my household, man, I think about Monica. I have a wife, man, that's genuine, authentic, and real, and that's passionate about, making sure that we prepare our sons to be the best that they can be as they live their life before Christ, to be an example, to be a leader, to use their voice for change, to use their voice as power, to use their voice as leadership. And so in everything we're dealing with and going through, like as a world, it's allowed us to have like these rich, genuine, intense conversations with them right now to prepare them for life. And we have these conversations. We've been having these conversations, and we've had more of these conversations here lately the past week or so. But at the same time, I'm grateful, right, that I have them, and I'm grateful that God has blessed us with them, so I can actually help them know what it means to live their life and do things the right way. Because a good friend of mine, Brad McCoy, Colt McCoy's dad, one thing that he said about when he raised his sons, because he has sons, he said one thing, Tyrone, when you think about, having Colt as my son, and he's was an awesome kid, awesome student athlete, awesome guy in the NFL. And he said, but the thing about it is, Tyrone, with me and my wife, it was about preparing Colt and his brothers for life. Not preparing the path for them, but preparing them for the path that they would take, right? Mm-hmm. That's Brad McCoy. That's not living life in such a way, man, where you feel like you have like this privilege. He's white. He said, no, it's about, even despite, his color, I got to prepare my sons for life that they're going to take, because they're going to be detours. They're going to be distractions, but we got to prepare them for that. And so that's the mindset that Monica and I've actually taken. It's like, how can we prepare TJ and Tyler for the things that they're going to endure? Because they will endure. And so in that, man, I'm grateful for it. I have fun doing it. So as much as I tell any other student outside my household, I got to give it back to them first. You understand?
Yeah, absolutely.
I got to give it to them first, because it's interesting. I took TJ with me. I take them with me to do speaking engagements. I go speak to athletes and teams. And TJ's like, Daddy, I said one time, I said, TJ, with everything you've heard me say, have you ever heard me say something publicly to these teams or in these presentations that you haven't heard? He's like, Dad, I've heard it all. It's good that he's heard it all, but I still got to follow through. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Just tell us about like what it is that you do for teens. Is it like, do you go back into middle schools and talk with middle school children, or is it high school children?
Shanta, man, brother, do it all. I speak to elementary age students, elementary, middle school, high school, college. I've done corporate presentations, corporate events, college events. I speak to pretty much I've done presentations with a group of bankers. So I speak to students. as well. But I mean, I speak to all groups. I mean, it's almost kind of one of those misconceptions. If you like really don't know me, you're like, man, he really love those young people, which I do love young people, but I actually speak to adults as well. I speak at church. I'm a youth minister. I mean, so any capacity platform that I'm actually given to tell the story, to impact, to empower in regards to change, I'm actually open to do it. But through my organization, First and Go Inc., we primarily work with young people in elementary, middle school, and high school, where we do group mentoring programs in a group setting to help change their mindset and their perspective about life, where we talk about choice, decisions, purpose, self-awareness, and setting goals. So our primary focus as an organization is doing group mentoring programs in a group setting. And outside of that, we do leadership conferences and workshops for school districts as well as staff developments, as well as general program presentations. So when you think about the work that we do, it started with us doing like our small groups, and going to these small groups, we saw all these other needs that students had, and we established all these other organizations. And so when you think about that, you know, it's about, we started one program 20 years ago, and then we're launching a new program called I Matter that we're going to be launching next week. It's a program designed to work with underrepresented, underserved students with low socioeconomic status and situations, to really empower and impact them about leadership, character development, diversity, cultural sensitivity, everything that really helps them to be like a well-rounded young man and young woman. So equality. So we're launching a new program that's called I Matter. And I Matter is really designed to work with students of color, students that are minority, to really help them realize and understand and know that in life, you matter. So I'm really looking forward to a new project we're going to be launching like in the next week. And I was really challenged to really launch this new program based on everything that's actually going on right now in the world. So I'm very grateful and thankful to still have a platform that's relevant enough that speaks to change, health, and wholeness in the lives of others.
I love it. I could see it on a t-shirt now. I matter. I would buy it.
You heard it here first.
Yes.
Yes.
Exclusive information, you guys.
Exclusive. You know what I mean? They can support the campaign, the project organization at teamfirstandgoal.org. But the Lord really put that on my heart a couple of nights ago where I just couldn't sleep. And I was like thinking about, you know, what more can we do as an organization to like level up? We do character development. We do leadership. We do college readiness programs. We do general presentations. We do all, but what can we do to level up? Let's be specific. I matter, right? I matter, underserved, underrepresented minority students that we can support in Houston, Texas.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So for you, what is the message? Like if you could tell someone, you just said it, I matter. That's huge.
Yes.
So basically inside the message that you received in the 5th grade really kind of helped to shape, and how, you know, although in later years you kind of have faced something again.
Yes.
That seed was planted. Because
yes.
you changed it around. I think that's so awesome. So you end up writing a book. Tell me about that process.
Yes, man. My book, man, Outside The Huddle. And Outside The Huddle is a book I actually wrote 4 years ago. And I want to write a book that can really that I can share about like my life and my story and my journey. And that's why I basically wrote Outside The Huddle. Outside The Huddle is really 8 practical principles that I've shared over my life going back from the 4th grade up until now, where I talk about purpose, plan, process, pitfall, people, practice, progress, and pausing in life. And so in the book, I share these 8 practical principles and how they've actually impacted my life. And I share relevant stories and examples from my life in which I share how I actually utilize each of those principles, and there's a challenge at the end. And so I wrote the book as a way to challenge, encourage, and inspire others, but at the same time, give a little bit of myself as well. It's 4 years in. I'm getting ready to actually launch a couple of virtual book tours that I'm going to be doing to kind of just, just kind of put the book and the product actually out there again, because I've been getting like a lot of requests here lately. People like, I didn't even know you had written the book. I'm like, yeah, I wrote the book 4 years ago. So it's not necessarily like a relaunch, but I'm actually hosting a series of virtual book tours I'm actually working on like right now with a team to really like make that happen. So the book is really just a piece of me that I'm giving to others, but at the same time, it's challenging you as well. You think about your life, considering everything I had to overcome to get to where I actually am today.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I noticed that there's a journal. What made you decide to put a journal with it?
Because it was interesting. While I was writing the book, I was like, man, I want to write a journal as well. And so now I'm a writer and an author. I never would have saw myself as a writer author growing up. And so in writing and journaling, really helped me kind of lay out the infrastructure of my book. I'm like, man, let's put a journal together. So I have a 52-day writing journal companion that you can actually purchase with my book. You can even utilize it outside the book, but with me writing this book and kind of like laying things out about my life that I needed to do, I felt it would be helpful for the next person as well. I created and wrote the journal in the middle of actually completing the book as well. And so I'm grateful and thankful for that, you know, with my wife and as well as Erica James, an editor who I actually work with, my wife, DeMonica, and Erica James, my sister-in-law daughter. I was like, you know what, let's map this thing out and let's make it happen. And so I'm an author and a writer. And I never would have saw myself in that capacity, right? But I mean, you know, I'm thankful for all opportunities. And about to get ready to release workbook companions for elementary, middle school, and high school students. That's a companion for my book as well that we'll be releasing in like 2 months. Outside the Huddle, the playbook.
Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Outside the Huddle, the playbook, is it
It's a student guide. So Outside the Huddle, the playbook is like a student guide with stories and scenarios based on the specific focuses like purpose, plan, process. So based on the particular topics of focus, right? There are scenarios, writing prompts, journal entries, discussion questions that speak to each of the principles that I share in my book. And it's a student guide that can be used with like a facilitator and students, or a facilitator in small groups, or a teacher in a classroom, right? And so been having fun kind of writing that out and you know, putting that together. And so we'll be launching that like in 2 months, Outside the Huddle, the playbook. So we just finished up with the elementary edition. And so I'm just kind of tweaking the middle school and high school edition right now.
Oh, that's so cool. If people wanted to buy the book
Yes.
Outside the Huddle and the journal, and then
Yep.
wanted to come back and get the other book, where would they find it?
If they want to find my book, you can go to my website, TyroneSmith24.com. It's TYRONESMITH24.com. So you can go to my website, TyroneSmith24.com, to actually stay connected or engaged with me, as well as like to purchase the book and any other products and programs that we'll be launching through my brand, TyroneSmith24.com. And the website for our nonprofit organization is teamfirstandgoal.org, with all the work that we do through school districts, communities, as well as agencies around the country.
That's awesome. What other products are you coming out with?
I'm actually in the process right now of creating like a digital platform with some coaching segments and elements that I'm actually like working on. I actually have a meeting on Monday as far as like digital products and coaching sessions that I'm actually going to be launching in maybe like about the next month or so. Because, you know, when you think about like the work and the purpose, the mission, and cause, I mean, I've been approached by quite a few people here lately in regards to taking advantage of the opportunity based on things I've actually experienced and done that can really like support others. And so I've been kind of working with a team to kind of map some details out as far as like, you know, launching the coaching segment for teachers, educators, as well as individuals and students, as well as like putting together like some digital products that's going to be based off certain things I've actually already written. Because the thing about it is, I've heard like once you write a book, it's hard to stop writing. And so I've written Outside the Huddle, but I have like at least about like 7 other projects, Shanta, I've actually been writing and working on that I have material that I haven't even released yet. So just trying to put it all together, man, just thanking God for the opportunity, and we'll see where it goes.
You know, you're inspiring a lot of people, and you will continue to do that. It's going to grow and inspire more and more.
Thank you.
Who inspires you right now, today?
Wow, man. Who inspires me today, man, is really young people that I see that recognize that they have the capacity to use their voice to make a difference. That's very inspirational when I see young people that actually just use their voice and they're unashamed despite failures, faults, circumstances, or situations. That really like inspires me. But at the end of the day, my true inspiration comes from Christ. I mean, because when I think about all that God has really called me to do and everything He's done in my life to move me from being this stuck child, right, trying to figure life out, to recognize my capacity, my value, my worth, I'm inspired each day by the fact that God has given me the capacity to make a difference in the lives of others based on me honoring and living before Him in everything that I do. So my true inspiration really comes from Christ, and I thank God for that. But at the same time, I'm really excited when I see young people who actually recognize their potential and their value to actually make a difference as well. And that's inspirational to see. And even so much so, it's inspirational to see a person that's older in age that say, hey, I'm not too old to still make a difference. Dalbert Galloway is the guy I know that worked with the flipping group. Dalbert Galloway, when I met him, for example, he was like Dalbert was like in his late 60s, still empowering young people and speaking around the world for social injustice and change and community health development in regards to youth development. And so I saw him and that really inspired me. I said, Dalbert, you know what, man? You inspire me because, you know, you're like 2 times my age and you're still making a great impact. And so when I think about inspiration, I thank God for what he's instilled in my heart to live before him. But then seeing others who have a rich genuineness about change, man, really inspires me as well. Because why? We're all in this together.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. Absolutely true. Now, I have a fun fact question for you.
All right, fun fact. Let's go.
Okay. All right. Okay. So today in your life, what would you prefer, to pick up a book and read it, or to play a quick game of football?
Yeah, because I mean, I like playing a pickup game of football because I want to, you know, back in the day, I thought I was like a little bootleg quarterback. So I like, you know, throwing the football around. I'm like the all-time quarterback or whatever. But I do like reading. But a fun fact, if I could just play like a pickup game of football, which is always cool because they give me opportunity to connect with a group of kids or individuals. Because even my son TJ will go out because when we're training, his goal is to catch anywhere from 150 to 200 passes a day. We're like in the thick of our training. We're throwing the rock. I'm teaching and coaching while I'm throwing it, but yet we're still having these conversations as well about life. You know what I mean? So I'm teaching him through repetition. It's one thing to catch 150 to 200 footballs, but at the same time, it's reps. I'm not just saying it one time. I'm not just doing it one time. I'm repeating what I'm saying. So, you know, through a pickup game of football, there are some practical life lessons and teachable moments and tips in that as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you actually work with your son. So the kids are in sports too.
Yeah, the kids are in sports too. TJ and Tyler are both in sports. TJ, he loves baseball and he loves basketball now. But TJ, he loves football and swimming. So TJ is a swimmer and he loves playing football.
It's good when kids are involved. You got a chance to see what that looked like in your life. So that's good. You're definitely following that
Yeah.
path and letting them explore. That's awesome. So can you share with us, what is your all-time favorite movie?
Man, one of my all-time favorite movies, man, is I like Remember the Titans. Remember the Titans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. What is one of your favorite artists that you listen to?
One of my favorite artists, man, you know, man, I was a big Tupac fan. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I listened to Tupac before the game. I'm about to go out and hurt somebody's child, for real. Somebody's child about to get hurt. I'm listening to that Tupac. I'm getting all hyped and excited. What? I mean, Tupac, man, he was such an artist, man, a poet, man, a rich, authentic, man, eclectic, creative type, man. So I was a big Tupac fan. He's a creative guy, man. Tupac.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I can go with Tupac and Jay-Z. I get down with some Jay-Z as well.
Oh, okay. Jay-Z.
Yeah, man, Jay, man, you know, Jay Hoove. Yeah.
And then what does Tyrone do for fun?
Man, what's Tyrone do for fun, man? I like just chilling, man, with the family, kicking back, relaxing, and watching movies. Because every Friday, man, me, Mike, and the boys, they come down to our room, put paddles on the floor. We get all the snacks and we watch movies. Like, for real, that's where I like to just chill and like watch. I'm a big movie. I just like watching movies, hanging down, relax, because it forces me to be still for that period of time. And I'm having this quality family time as well. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's what I like to do, man, just to chill, pile up in the bed, you know what I'm saying, watch movies, eat the oatmeal cream pies, maybe some nothing but cake, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
A Mountain Dew, zero with no sugar, and just chill out in the bed and just chillax. Yes, that's it right there.
All right. That sounds like fun. You know what? I love doing that too. And since COVID-19 started, it feels like I was able to get back to that, because I have to admit that we had became so busy that we kind of lost sight of like sitting down watching the movies together, because I felt like I didn't have time.
Right.
Yeah, so it kind of helped me in that way to become grounded again in that sense. Do you have anything planned coming up that you're going to be doing?
Man,
As far as speaking engagements, or is that still on hold right now?
No, I'm actually doing a speaking engagement, actually this Monday for the University of Houston downtown and with Texas Kip Houston. So I'm actually still able to be booked to do speaking engagements. I mean, I'm actually being paid to do virtual speaking engagements on behalf of companies, schools, and organizations. So I thank God for that. So I actually have a speaking engagement this upcoming Monday with the University of Houston downtown and Kip Houston to encourage a group of rising seniors about life, the story, and the journey. So I'm actually doing a lot of different things virtual. We're actually launching a weekly power session through First and Goal, like every Wednesday, 2:00 Central Standard Time. You can register on our website where we actually have a 40-minute power mentoring session for students. It's via Zoom Live. You have to register to be a part of it. So we're launching that program as well as the work that I'm doing virtually at Harris County Youth Service Division with Sharice Glasper and Joe Levine and the team and Ginger Harper and Jeff Alexander. So I'm doing a series of virtual programs and projects. So we're still getting work in with Harris County Youth Service Division, Harris County Community Development with Ramiro. And so it's about, although we have this change and this new normal, we're still able to do the work. So I'm actually still grateful and thankful for that because, there are a lot of people, there are over 40+ million people out of work. So whatever opportunity that I'm actually given, I thank God for that. I don't take it for granted because we have a lot of people that are in dire need that don't have the capacity to work. So I count it all joy.
That is awesome. Who's your mentor right now today?
My mentor, Coach Brantley, and I talk at least like once or twice a week. I just did a session for his football team and coaching staff, Coach Dennis Brantley. So my mentor is Coach Dennis Brantley. That's my mentor. My pastor, Dr. Ralph Douglas West. I'm a member of the Church Without Walls. I call him like the Big Belichick or the Big Aristotle because he's a New England Patriots fan. So my mentors are Coach Dennis Brantley, my pastor, Dr. Ralph Douglas West, Walter Abercrombie. He was my mentor in college. He's a former NFL player. He works for the Baylor Letterman Association. They're at Baylor University. He's one of my mentors as well. And so those are three guys that serve as mentors in my life that I have like these specific intentional conversations with often, right? And then there are other individuals and other men that I'm actually accountable to that are part of my support circle. So but the three people, man, who I look up to like as mentors are Coach Dennis Brantley, Walter Abercrombie, and my pastor, Dr. Ralph Douglas West. And then, I have, like I said, other countless friends like Alan Rice, that's a pastor, Sammy Lopez, that's a pastor, that really kind of help support me from a spiritual mindset to remember to be healthy and whole in regards to the work that I'm called and led to do. But yeah, my guys though, Coach Brantley, Walter, and my pastor, Dr. Ralph Douglas West.
All right. So everyone should have in their life a mentor.
Yes. Everybody should have somebody in their life that they can actually talk to, that can help guide, lead, love, and direct them, and that can have authentic, genuine conversations with you when they see you off path or off target. Everybody needs a mentor.
You guys, you hear that? Everyone needs a mentor. And guess what? Tyrone Smith, it's called 24 Game Changer Coaching and Mentoring.
Yes.
You guys can check it out on the website. It's a nice website. I'm looking at it now. You can pick up Tyrone's book called Outside The Huddle and be on the lookout for Outside The Huddle, the playbook.
Yeah, Outside The Huddle, the playbook, and other digital products that we're actually working on. So I'm definitely looking for a mentor opportunity. They can actually email me on the website if they have any questions about specific products, plans, or coaching. It's ready to level up, you know what I mean? And we're launching through First and Go Inc., the I Matter program. Anybody like to serve, support, donate in any capacity so we can serve and represent those underrepresented and underserved students because we all matter. I Matter program. Really looking forward to putting that out there over the next couple of weeks. T-shirts to come as well.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to get one of those T-shirts.
All right, done deal.
I'm going to have to, I'll go there and, order me one of those because I matter. I definitely can see me, my husband, and kids rocking it,
Okay. Y'all got the rock and take a picture too. We got, okay, all right. Now I got you. I'm holding you to that, all right?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to have to do that. I'll get one. I'll get 4 of them from you. And then what I'm going to do, definitely take a picture and I'm going to post it to my Instagram, everywhere that I can think of, and share it. So yeah, that's awesome.
So on Instagram, it's Tyrone24_7. And it's at Tyrone24 on Twitter.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm looking him up now. So Tyrone.
24_7.
It's a picture of you where you are with your football jersey.
Yes.
I mean, in uniform. Okay. All right, you guys. Follow Tyrone on Instagram. And then you said also on Twitter?
Yeah, on Twitter. Tyrone24 on Twitter. Tyrone24. You see the same football picture on Twitter as well.
Twitter as well, you guys. And you guys, I think you have to hit, I'm learning about Twitter. I'm kind of new to Twitter. So I think you have to hit that bell and that plus sign, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Plus sign. So when we get off, I'll follow you back.
Okay. Twitter and we're trying to figure this thing out.
I just followed you back on Twitter.
Okay. For me, Twitter is like, okay, I'm trying to figure it out. Wow, Tyrone, I really appreciate you coming on the show. I enjoyed you sharing your story. It's inspirational. It's inspiring. It motivates. It gives you all of that. And that's the stories that we need to hear and understand more and more of, so that the youth of today growing up can understand that although their circumstances may not be what someone else's is, and although the odds might seem like it's against them, that they can persevere.
Right.
You said something. You said that you made a choice, like you didn't get involved in drugs and you put everything you had into like your sports, playing football and all of that. How did you avoid the drugs? Was that just you just saying like, I'm not going to do that? Or was it not around?
No, the thing with me, the thing with me not really being consumed by drugs really boiled down to the fact that I saw so much. What I'm saying. So here it is. When you think about, I'm trying to give it to you like the best way. So here it is. We have like when you ask me the question like about when you ask me the question about drugs and why I didn't use drugs. Drugs are part of my life. What I'm saying, my brother has used drugs, been on drugs, sold drugs, strung out on drugs. There were different family members in my family that was actually strung out on drugs. So I saw the effects of drugs firsthand. And so now here it is. I've seen the effects of drugs firsthand, and I'm seeing it, and I'm feeling it emotionally with everything what my family's dealing with, going through with my mom and my dad, with my brother being on drugs and using drugs. And so I said, like, that's not what I want. Right. Mm-hmm. That's not what I want. So I actually made a decision, to really separate myself from that. And I think really what it boils down to, our experiences, our exposure, and our journey can sometimes help us if we're willing to receive the help, or even hinder us if we take on that learned behavior and make it as a part of our life in regards to how we cope and deal with things. So I think the biggest thing it really boils down to is really, having a capacity of understanding and knowing how you cope with things. Mm-hmm. If you're going to talk about it, it's going to internalize, it's going to come out one way, either in a healthy way or an unhealthy way. But for the most time, we tend to deal with things in an unhealthy sense. And so I saw enough in regard to the damage that drugs had did to my family that I was like, it's not what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. A lot of sense. You guys, I would start clapping for Tyrone, but I know that would be annoying in your ear, and it might be annoying if you're driving in your car or wherever you're listening to the show. Tyrone is coming back. I just wanted to say how much I really enjoyed the conversation with Tyrone and him being so open with all of us and sharing his story. I enjoyed the fact that he took us through his childhood, grade by grade, and we were able to get a visual and just really picture his life and have an opportunity to feel as if we all knew and know Tyrone. Well, here Tyrone is coming right back to leave us the great tips.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Tyrone Smith. But I want you to understand and know this right here. In everything that you do, let your words and your life have meaning. What does that mean? Let your words and your life have meaning. If there's something that you desire for your life, if there's something you actually want to do with your life, align your life in such a way that you can fulfill that goal, that dream, that hope, or that aspiration. And what that means, you actually pretty much actually have to have a plan. You have to have a plan, and you have to work that plan. So it's one thing to say you want to achieve great things in life, But to mean it, you gotta work it. And to work it, you have to have a plan. And to have that plan, you must work that plan. And working that plan is really writing out details specifically what it is that you actually want for your life. And once you figure that out, surround yourself with people or a mentor who can help guide and support you in that journey to let your words and your life have meaning in all that you do. That's a quick nugget, man, from your boy Tyrone Smith. Connect with me on TyroneSmith24.com and know you have the capacity to be successful, but get out of your own way.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name is Shanta with Authentic Talks.